So, guy, people are probably surprised to learn that you've got, I think, kind of a sneaky entry into your top five bands, the Guy Adami top five, that most people wouldn't expect for a guy that people know is a huge Skinner fan.
Right.
How you doing?
Well, the obvious, I mean, you're right. I mean, the obvious is
Zeppelin,
The Who, Skinner's in there, but REM is the one you're talking about. I know it because nobody would, in their wildest dreams.
Look, a guy from the mean side of the tracks in Croton, whose high school gang was called the Hoodies, and
Harlem Hoods.
The Harlem Hoods. I mean, we would not expect a sensitive, almost folksy band from Athens, Georgia, to make your top five. Why is that? How did that happen?
It's the genius of Michael Stipe. It's the poetry of Michael Stipe. It's the incoherent lyrics of Michael Stipe. And I think it's just that, I mean, some of the songs it's just a great band. I mean, they've have 8 or 9 different albums. I mean, what's the frequency?
I think it's
Kenneth
more like
off Monster. Is it that many? It's just a great rockin' tune.
Dan Rather
written about Dan Rather. Why are you bringing up the great REM though and Michael Stipe?
Because we tend to look back here on Commercial Break at different times in music history. And I think it's particularly interesting that not 10, not 20, but count them 30 years ago today, REM's most successful album, Out of Time, hit the shelves, man. And I'm guessing for guys like us, because folks, REM makes my top five too. And it's crazy that Guy and I are in agreement on this one. Although, we overlap. I still think Aerosmith's the most overrated band of all time. And find half their music from the 80s unlistenable. I might as well I'd rather get Rickrolled than listen to I was Fine.
Yeah, no, you're right. I listen, when you really boil it down, I mean, a couple tunes outside of a couple tunes, it really comes down to Toys in the Attic, and that's it.
I agree.
There's some truth.
Maybe
to
a reassessment. Maybe a reassessment. So REM's Out of Time, 1991.
Incredible. That is like incredible.
So Losing My Religion.
Awful song.
Terrible
unlistenable.
Song.
It's like a David Bowie. Bands. It's like a David Bowie mail-in shitty song. Pardon my French.
That's what I think we need the audience to do today. I think people need to let us know what most commercially successful song by one of your favorite bands almost ruined that loyalty to that band for you because the song sucked. And this isn't fair because I get some heat about this with Touch of Grey by the Grateful Dead, but that was one of the songs probably about the same time, by the way, that they got some of their most radio airplay. So Losing My Religion, that album though also featured some support from another very famous Athens, Georgia band. Can you name that band?
Got to be B-52s. I mean, it has to be
B-52s, and Kate Pearson and Shiny Happy People,
which is another awful song.
You know what? I bet that one's aged better for me, and it actually makes me feel pretty good when I hear it.
Stop. I'm not looking to feel good. See Radio Song is on that album too. That's a decent song. I mean, Shiny Happy People, Losing My Religion. Now, if you really want to Man on the Moon to me is just a tremendous song, and Fall on Me, just different unbelievable. Album. No, I know, but that to me is that's REM.
So that's off of Automatic for the People. I'm going to go with something like Night Swimming, there's some
as opposed to Night Putting at night, which of
course with the daughter of the dean. All right, so. Losing My Religion or Out of Time, pick, the expression I'm losing my religion as it relates to, let's drop this into a market context. When you've lost your religion, when I'm losing my religion, I've lost my faith in something, I believe. I don't think this was an attack on religion per se, as REM might want to do, but I don't think that's what was going on here. So it's really kind of being at the end of your rope. And I know you've expressed being kind of at the end of your rope on the Fed.
I'm way past the end of my rope. To me, it's like it goes back to another great band that only had one album, by the way.
Give them enough
Blind
rope.
Faith. Blind faith. It's like once you lose that blind faith, once you take a step back and say, wait a second, maybe this is all fugazi. Maybe I shouldn't just blindly follow into the abyss.
By the way, there's a blind faith
that to
album.
me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Nice use of fugazi. And there's a blind faith album that I don't think could get produced today.
Well, it's the album cover. Without getting into great detail, I think it's the only album they released, and it's an iconic album cover. And I think you're correct in so much that it wouldn't be. But given some of the songs that I heard won the Grammys this year, I mean that's child's play compared to some of the stuff that's out there now.
Yeah, and there's also I thought you were talking about on Enough Rope. There's an album by The Clash called Give Enough Rope. I know you're a huge Clash fan and a big fan of Joe Strummer, Mick Jones, Paul Simonon, and Topper Headon. But again, I think one of the great bands of all time for a lot of different reasons. So I haven't lost. Look, I'm not losing my religion as it relates to the market. I think I've told you I'm cautious, I'm fearful, I'm dancing by the door, and I think the minute the Fed gives us any indication, it's over. It's over the day before. But I in terms of I might be losing my religion a little bit on this dollar trade, this weak dollar trade, and what it means for resources that have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
And so I'm not changing gears. I'm simply saying, guy, keep an eye on the dollar. And the dollar, which should be under extraordinary pressure because of stimulus galore, because of the Federal Reserve, because of maybe a perception that the current administration doesn't care how much money they spend. I don't think any administration for the last 4 or 5 of them have cared, by the way. I don't think any political party has been true to the colors that are supposedly emblematic of that party, if you know what I mean. In other words, I think the Republicans didn't care. I think the Democrats don't care. And I think that the dollar possibly on some level is the great, the great irony is that the dollar could move higher here. And if the dollar moves higher, I think it's going to be additionally very painful for some of these resource trades, some of these reflation trades for emerging markets, which, frankly, I've been very bullish on. And I don't feel so good right now because I see different things working here, including maybe a Head and Shoulders and all this kind of weird technical stuff.
Dollar should have gotten blasted last week when Jerome Powell went out with that complete horse hockey statement that they're data dependent and exactly. But with that said, they're not going to raise rates until 2023. I mean, that to me should have been the all clear sign for people to lay into the dollar, and quite the opposite's happened. To your point, I mean, the dollar's found its legs, and that could be some headwinds for the resource trade. So if it didn't sell off on the back of that, maybe people are off sides in the dollar. I think you bring up a really good point.
I think the other message is just some of the trades that have been successful in the last 12 to 15 months are ones that there's a big does this make sense? Was this just COVID? Did COVID punctuate a trend that was already in place? Is this going to continue to happen? So look, I don't have the answer to that, but I think I can't go for that. In fact, no can do. No can do. Song.
I like what you did. Little Hall of Notes there. So it's the old thing. You mentioned Topper. I hear Topper, and I think of either that's what Frosty named the rabbit in Frosty the Snowman, or or
I didn't
one
even
of those.
know that.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
know
that's a Topper I'll take.
Okay. A huge seller of Frosty. I think we've been this. We're so out of season right now.
Yeah,
which means which means we're out of time. And guy, I think we're out of time. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, then I'll let you go later, dude.